Before time hardened into history, a sacred covenant awakened, calling guardians to remember humanity's promise with the living spirit of Earth. From ancient clay and turquoise breath, the lion emerged, not as ruler, but as witness to balance and keeper of memory. Through firelit stories and patient science, elders shaped young minds, teaching that protection of nature is protection of tomorrow. Each footprint learned the land's language, every breath carried lessons older than nations, written by wind and survival. The lion walked beside them unseen, reminding hearts that guardianship is not power taken, but responsibility patiently carried. Knowledge passed like fire between hands, never consumed, only transformed, ensuring wisdom endured beyond a single lifetime together. In shared rituals, science and spirit aligned, proving the future is protected when tradition listens and innovation remembers humility. The lion's gaze lifted toward stars, teaching that guardians do not vanish. They become guidance etched into the sky. Balance returned quietly, not as triumph, but as harmony restored through countless choices made with reverence and restraint. Thus the legacy endured, a living promise that every generation must carry the flame, or watch the darkness grow. Children learn not from command, but from watching the lion protect without possession, teaching strength rooted in restraint. Each generation received the torch differently, yet the flame remained unchanged, burning for balance rather than dominion. The land responded gently, rivers breathing clearer, forests whispering approval as guardianship replaced conquest in human hearts. Science traced patterns the ancestors already felt, revealing knowledge circles back when humility leads discovery. The lion paused at the horizon, symbol of transition, reminding guardians that stewardship is a journey without final arrival. Hands once raised to take now lifted to teach, shaping futures where coexistence became the highest form of intelligence. Songs carried forward not glory, but responsibility, echoing through valleys where past and future finally met. The lion's shadow merged with the children's steps, proving legacy lives not in monuments, but in mindful actions. Night fell without fear, for balance stood awake, guarded by those who understood time beyond themselves. Thus the covenant evolved, not rewritten, but renewed through every choice honoring life as sacred. Elders spoke softly, knowing true guardianship echoes longer when carried through example rather than authority. The lion walked among symbols carved in clay and turquoise, bridging ancestral memory with futures yet unshaped. Young minds listened beyond words, sensing the land itself was speaking through breath, movement, and silence. Knowledge became ceremony, where learning honored mystery instead of reducing life into fragments. The lion's gaze reflected generations aligned, a reminder that wisdom grows when power learns to wait. Fires burned lower but steadier, mirroring a future sustained not by force, but by continuity. Every footprint beside the lion marked trust, proof that protection begins with shared paths. Time folded inward, revealing guardians are momentary, while the balance they protect must endure. Children stepped forward willingly, not chosen, but awakened by stories etched into earth and bone. Thus the torch passed unseen, glowing brightest within those who vowed to listen before acting. The lion slowed its pace, allowing the young to lead, teaching that guidance sometimes means stepping behind. Around them, the land responded again, as if recognizing new guardians through intention rather than age. Old wounds of conquest softened, replaced by patience grown from understanding consequences across generations. Science and spirit stood together, no longer opposing forces, but twin lenses revealing the same truth. The lion's mane caught the turquoise wind, carrying prayers forward without words or witnesses. Lessons once whispered became living practice, shaping choices before mistakes could repeat themselves. Children no longer asked what power was, for they felt it in restraint, care, and attention. The earth breathed deeper, sensing continuity beyond individual lives, sustained by collective remembrance. The lion halted at sacred ground, marking the threshold between inheritance and responsibility. There, the guardians stood equal, knowing the future listens only to those who honor the present. Silence gathered as a promise, binding old guardians and new through shared responsibility rather than spoken oaths. The lion lowered its head, not in surrender, but in recognition of continuity beyond its own watch. Turquoise light traced unseen lines, revealing futures shaped quietly by choices made in reverence. No crown was given, no throne prepared, for guardianship demanded humility instead of reward. The land accepted its keepers gently, responding not to ambition, but to balance restored. Science measured progress, spirit measured intention, and together they safeguarded life's fragile rhythm. The lion turned toward the horizon, knowing its legacy now walked on many feet. Children stood where elders once stood, carrying wisdom forward without claiming ownership. Thus the covenant endured, alive within every act that chose protection over possession. And so the story rests, and finished by design, awaiting each generation willing to guard tomorrow.